In the grand arena of life, every man faces his own unique seasons, times of triumph, struggle, growth, and reflection. Your legacy is forged not just by the challenges you face, but by the quality of your thoughts and actions. Welcome to the Legacy Podcast with Ernest Wood, where we explore the path to true happiness, enduring legacy, and becoming the man you're meant to be.
Hey, welcome back to the Legacy Podcast, and I'm your host, Ernest Wood. And today, I'm going to give you a tool that can radically change your life. And you already have it with you. It's not supplements. It's not some hidden ritual. It's your breath. And it's step 2 of my coaching program of the 5 fundamentals. Last time was hydration. We're going to talk about breath today. Next time will be movement, nutrition, and then followed by sleep. It's weird. I mean, breath is like we naturally do it, right? But many of us don't even do it correctly. And most people they don't even think about learning how to breathe properly. We just do it. We go through life. We start out as little kids. We might play some sports, and the coach will tell you every once in a while, stand up straight, and breathe, or don't bend over when you're trying to catch your breath. But other than that, you really don't hear too much about it. And then we'll start getting our jobs, and we start getting busy, and we start looking on our phones and doing all the stuff. And then all of a sudden, we're wonder why we have no energy. The focus is all jacked up. We have excess belly fat. And a lot of times it's just because our breath is jacked up. And so I have some little notes here. I'm going to go through these notes. I found out a lot of stuff I did not even realize about breath. I knew, when I started on my journey of trying to be a better person, I heard about meditation and Wim Hof breathing. So I do Wim Hof every day, and I try to meditate every day. Totally helps calm down the mind, calm down the anxiety, stops you from being an asshole, and helps you control some of that anger. So your breath is like your remote control to your nervous system. And if you can learn how to use it, you can shift from like chaos to clarity, from burnout to control in seconds. Just a couple breaths, and you can actually switch yourself from being stressed out, having anxiety, ready to flip out, to being calm, collected, and ready to respond instead of react. So today we're going to explore why most people breathe wrong, and how it's breaking their focus, their sleep, causing energy loss, and then how breath controls stress, fat loss, and even confidence. And then I'm going to give you a couple simple techniques that the Navy SEALs use and other peak performers use to stay cool under pressure. All right, so at the end of this, I'll give you a 1 to 2 minute technique that helps for resetting the day. And it's changed my life. I was the most reactionary person that you'd ever meet. Anything popped up, I was reacting. I was always super stressed out, high levels of anxiety, always felt overwhelmed. But when I went on my little journey, my asshole to awesome journey, I've been learning how to breathe. So I do a breathing technique every day. It's called Wim Hof. And then I meditate. And then all throughout the day, I try to do some box breathing or the 4-7-8 breathing. I'll go through those with you later. But it's 1,000% helped out with my mental stability, I might say it. Helped me. I don't really ever have road rage anymore. I'm going to still get mad, but I don't freak out. I don't just flip out and lose my shit. I usually can get that enough 1 to 2 seconds in there where I respond to things instead of just blow up and react. Haven't thrown a golf club in quite a long time. So that's a big bonus right there. Um, and here's a crazy freaking stat. 90% of people breathe dysfunctionally. That's nuts, right? They either doing one of the three or all three. They breathe through their mouth, or they breathe into their chest, or they overbreathe, which they overoxygenate. That might not sound like a big problem, but once we go through this, you're going to understand why overoxygenation is not a good thing. So basically, what those do by doing any one of those three or all three is that you put your body in the fight or flight mode, right? Your body's always thinking that it's under some kind of threat, stress, um, that something's about to happen that's not good. And what that does is it raises the cortisol levels, which brings in some stress, your brain fog, poor digestion, fatigue, burnout, and just basically all the things that most people are running into today, right? If you look around many times when you walk around just out in the world and you actually pay attention, it's like 50 to 60% of people mouth breathe. And that's, you can watch them. They're walking around the streets going, which is, like I just said, one of those three things there. So let's compare, like when you actually nasal breathe, it filters and humidifies that air, right? And it triggers the nitric oxide release, which is a powerful vasodilator. So let me explain that. So nitrogen oxide, you actually need that buildup in your body, and it drives out the oxygen into your cells. When you overoxygenate, you don't have that. You expand, or you get rid of too much of the carbon dioxide, so it doesn't give your body the chance to get the oxygen actually into your cells. So that means, as you should know, or you might not know, but oxygen is the fuel that gets everything going in our bodies. So without the proper CO2 levels, you're not going to get that oxygen streaming into your blood. So we got to slow down the breathing, make it deeper, do it through the nose. And it also, what it does when you breathe in through your nose and out through your nose nicely and in control, tells your body you're safe. Stay calm, do your digestion, you can heal, let's focus a little more, right? So let's think. There's different techniques, right, for using the breath. And there's different levels of what you're going to have to bring yourself down. Let me explain this. So imagine if you're a Navy SEAL in the middle of a freaking huge mission, super stressful situation, or you're a monk sitting silently in a little temple, right? Both these people are using breath to understand the situation. One is using it to, the SEALs are using it to have precision, calmness in a moment of chaos. So they can focus, they can see better, they can react better. The other one is in like the ultimate of peace and enlightenment. It's actually, he's connected to like his higher self. I don't know about you, but I think we fit into like a middle between those, right? We're not the freaking Navy SEAL out there putting our life on the line, but most of us aren't the monks sitting in a little temple just breathing all day and meditating. So we need to find that middle spot. But the way a lot of us breathe, we're breathing like you're in that death situation. So what we need to do, learn to breathe, learn to calm down, and learn that life can be so much easier and get rid of so much stress when your body and your system is working correctly. So we got to use our breath correctly. So our breath isn't, it's not just survival. I mean, yes, it's it's one of those few things that if we don't do it in a minute or two, we're probably killing off some brain cells. But it's also a switchboard, right? And each time we inhale, it activates our sympathetic nervous system, our alert system. But then when we exhale, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which calms it down. So, right, when you breathe in, you kind of get alert. But when you breathe out, nice, calm, long breath, it relaxes you. So you kind of think about it, look around, just practice it. When you breathe in with intention, you kind of become a little more alert to what's going on around you. And then if you do, try to do a long exhale and just feel that calmness come over you. Because most of us, we walk around, we're breathing way too much, way too fast. You can literally control your stress response with every breath. Let me say that again. You can literally control your stress response with every breath. Your nervous system listens to how you breathe. You can either train it to panic or you can train it to be composed and be like just even keel, not all stressed out, not ready to break off your stab somebody in the neck for no reason. And here's a little study. It shows that if we what is it? I want to say you breathe 5 to 6 times per minute. So slow nasal rhythmic breathing. It can improve your HRV, which is your heart rate variability, your mood, your focus, and blood pressure. So HRV, they say, is one of your most important measurements for longevity of life. Obviously, we know what mood is. Many of us are in a shitty mood all day long. Focus, yeah, the focus level today is less than a goldfish. I want to say it's like 4 to 6 seconds. It's horrible. And I've caught myself getting into this lately, is having absolutely no focus. So I've went back to my breathing practices, trying to reconnect with that breath. Because when I was feeling my best and doing my best, I was definitely super connected with my breathing. And just 5 minutes of intentional breathing can cut your cortisol levels in half. Do a little research on what the cortisol does to the body. It's tough, man. It's tough. That's why we have one of the reasons we have so much obesity in the world is because everybody's walking around stressed out, raised cortisol levels, which retains the fat, puts us in the fight or flight mode. And that can all be changed by just learning how to breathe properly. And here's a challenge. Think back to the last time you were like anxious, pissed off, or overwhelmed. How were you breathing? Were you breathing calm, deep, slow breaths? Or were you right? And next time you catch yourself like starting to get mad, starting to get irritated, slow down. Take that breath. Learn to take that deep in the nose breath into your belly through the using the diaphragm. Hold for a count and then slow out. It's magical. It's like a magic freaking pill, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I don't want to keep harping on it, but we'll move to the next area, and then we talk about performance, because breathing it's more than just, relaxation or how you respond. It's also your metabolic like secret weapon. Proper breathing improves oxygen delivery to the muscles, recovery speed, your VO2 max and endurance, and like I said earlier, even your fat loss. So when you overbreathe, you exhale too much CO2. We went over this a little bit, and your body becomes less efficient at releasing the oxygen in your cells. It's called Bohr effect, Bohr effect. CO2 is not the enemy; it's the key to oxygen assumption. So it's funny because you always hear negative stuff about CO2 and the rise of it, but the body actually needs it to push that oxygen into our cells to utilize it properly. So you want to burn fat efficiently, learn to breathe slower. You want to last longer in the gym, in a fight, or when you're knocking a piece out with a wife or a girlfriend, whatever. Train your CO2 tolerance. Train that breath. Uh, Posture also plays a huge role in breathing, because a lot of us are slumped over all day, or we're leaned down in our chairs, we're not sitting up properly. And what that does is when you're slouched over, it compresses your lungs. You don't get that deep breath, you get that more shallow breath. So, yeah, good breathing begins with a posture, shoulders down, ribs open, diaphragm engaged. Make it a priority. I can guarantee you, if you have not thought about your breath and you're stressed out, you're overwhelmed, you're feeling unfocused, your energy levels are down, fix that hydration. Next step, fix the breath. Those are the two cheapest, fastest ways to feel a thousand times better, 100% better. Whatever it is that you need to feel better, work on those. So here's the top 3 mistakes that I see. Mouth breathing. Again, we're going to go over those. Mouth breathing, especially during sleep, right? You're like, well, how in the hell can I control that? Well, by teaching yourself to breathe through the nose all day long, you'll body you'll be used to breathing through the nose, so you'll stop breathing through the mouth. But one tip is get some little mouth tape. It's it's actually sold in all kinds of places now, but check with your doctor before you try this, and use the mouth tape when you go to sleep. And that's going to help with not having a dry mouth, helps with stop the snoring, helps to get deeper sleep, and it'll help actually with your REM cycles. So when you're breathing through the nose, it'll get you into deeper sleep, helps your body goes through the different cycles, so you're getting the right amount of um, healing sleep and your dream state and all those different things that you need to be operating at your most efficient. The second one, mouth breathing, and your second one is chest breathing, and that's where you just see people doing just like shallow chest and shallow breathing. Their chest just comes in and out, and it's like super quick. What that triggers is you get a big cortisol release, and it doesn't let's see, just your vagus nervous system. So the vagus nervous system, when you're doing that shallow chest breathing, gets all messed up. It gets kind of out of whack, and your vagus nervous system helps with your digestion, your some of your hormone drops and stuff on those things, right? And then the last one is your over breathing. Too much air in, too fast. and it can cause dizziness, tension, poor gas exchange. And that one isn't as much. Like I don't. Well, trying to think on the over breathing thing. I think people more over breathe like when they're exercising or when they're out of shape, right? If you're walking up a little incline and you do 1,000 steps and all of a sudden you find yourself panting and barely able to catch your breath, that's kind of the over breathing. The goal isn't just to breathe more, it's to breathe better. We want you to breathe in the most efficient manner, and that's going to be through the nose, using the diaphragm, starting at the belly, filling it up through the chest, back out through the chest, out the belly. You should almost feel like you can feel it come up and then you feel it come down. So here's three tools that I use, and the Navy SEALs use it. It's their technique, the Navy SEAL technique. It's called box breathing. So it's going to be 4, 4, 4, and 4. 4 on the inhale, hold for 4 seconds. 4 on the exhale, 4 on the hold, right? You're going to do 4 rounds of that. It's awesome to do like before you do a meeting, do before your workout, before you're trying to sleep. Hit those. You'll thank me. The other one is your psychological sigh. So it's a double inhale, right? So you're going to start reduces anxiety super fast. Stanford research found it's more effective than meditation in high stress moments. So when you get in that high stress moment and you need to and you actually remember, do that. It's called a psychological sigh. Double inhale and a long exhale throughout the mouth. And then the last one is your nasal breathing challenge. So breathe through your nose during your entire work. Well, this is so you have your box breathing, right? Your 4-4-4. You have your psychological, what is it called? Psychological sigh. And then you have your nasal breathing challenge, however you want to look at it. So when you're working out, it's try to just breathe through your nose. Yeah, it freaking sucks. But the more you work on it and the better you get, the more benefits you're going to get out of it. You're going to be able to train longer. You're going to get better recovery, better focus, more strength. It's amazing. I've been really trying to work on it. I'm still probably 50-60%, but I think it was on one of my podcasts that I talked about the Spartan training. So when they used to train their little kids, I think like their 12, 13-year-old, 14-year-olds, they would go on a 10K run, fill their mouths with water, and they had to come back with that same amount of water in their mouth, which meant they had to breathe through their nose the entire time, right? And that was their training to teach these kids how to be a Spartan warrior. So if you ever want to go do a Spartan race, start training like that. So kind of here's a recap. This might not be the most smooth episode ever, but breath is a bridge between your body and your brain. It helps you control your stress, increase focus, improves your sleep, enhance fat loss. And the best freaking part about it, it's freaking free. All you have to do is learn how to take a second, reclaim your breath, and get all the benefits from it. So a 1 minute, 2 minute challenge for you. Take 10 slow nasal breaths right now. Try it. While you're finishing up listening to this, 10 slow nasal breaths. Inhale through the nose and exhale slowly through the nose. Count it out. So try to do in 4 to 5 seconds, out 6 to 7 seconds. See how your body shifts, see how you feel. And that's going to be the beginning. If you can just keep doing those and keep getting better at those, you're going to be amazed on how awesome your body feels, how much more control of your mind, how much better everything just appears, because now you're getting oxygen into that whole system. So, yeah, so I apologize about any of the little stuttering, stuff like that. I've been off a little bit, still working on my breathing, trying to get better, trying to get back to my old self. I lost myself for a little bit there. But if this episode helps you, share it with somebody. Share it with somebody that you see that's fucking stressed out, ready to lose their shit. Somebody that's overweight, somebody that's not breathing right. And then you can, shoot me an email at Ernie@ernestwood.com. I'll put it on the little thing there, and I can give you some little techniques, share with you my morning routines, and it really does help, man. I have a buddy. We just started chatting a couple weeks ago, and he started doing his breathing exercises. He actually texted me a week ago or last week, and he was like, "Man, the stuff actually works. It does calm down your mind." He wasn't able to shut his mind down at all. He was over freaking thinking everything and causing him to not having as much enjoyment in life. But bring that enjoyment back in. Be able to breathe, be able to calm down, get rid of the cortisol, and remember, yeah, and just remember, you know, you don't have to constantly be stressed. You don't have to have the weight of the world on your shoulders at every moment. Most of the shit you fear, most of the shit that is causing you issues in your brain are really never going to come to fruition. We always are so afraid of what could happen or what if and all this stuff. So take that second, take that minute to breathe, do it nice and slow through the nose, sit up tall, and learn to start enjoying life again. All right. Hey, hopefully this helps out. Like I said, throw a comment in there. I know this wasn't going to, it's not the smoothest episode ever. There's going to be some errors in here, but you can get something from it. I can guarantee you that most of you listening to this are not breathing right. Have a great day.